You?
Hello? Is it Dr. Tassman Walker?
It is me. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed we do. Great to see you here again.
So you're probably running out of time, so you probably need to move on. Is that the way it is?
No, I don't know.
I think we should have time for a short question.
A short question. Yeah, let's take a short question then. I mean, you have a perspective on this issue. You have been studying geology out of a biblical perspective and also a secular perspective. What can you see kind of the challenges for the biblical view in your mind? What areas is that you find, that we have the best solutions, or where we are lacking the most? So what are the challenges you see to this view? Because it's a beautiful, so simple, and so believable somehow. So what's your view on this issue?
So there've been a lot of responses, advances in geological areas which have been made over the last 20 years or so. And a lot has been written on creation.com and also CRSQ and ICR. So a lot has been written about geology. And there's still issues that need to be sorted out, such as coming to some agreement on where the flood actually stops. There's been quite a bit of disagreement among creationist geologists on that, although in recent years there seems to be a growing consensus. And so it's very important to have some sort of a consensus on creationist geologists. I really got started in this because I went on a tour of New Zealand, and everywhere you went, it was saying 50 million years ago, this happened. 100 million years ago, this happened. 20 million years ago, and the whole lot was presented in terms of millions of years. And I just thought, the Bible doesn't even get a look in. And I couldn't figure out where things fitted geologically, and so that's where the geological model came from. And so I think it will have a bit of make a difference when people see, can point to a certain area and say, this was eroded during Noah's flood at such and such a particular time. And I think that will add some sort of credibility to the biblical position. See, that's what the evolutionists do. David Attenborough will sit in front of a rock and he'll point to it and he'll say 600 million years ago, and he'll, describe the rock. And I think it's just so important that as Christians that we can say, early in Noah's flood, these were the rocks that formed. And I think that will really help to connect the Bible to the real world.
So an issue of communication in a pedagogical way, would you frame it like that?
Yes, so in other words, connecting things to what people are seeing. Is that the way it is?
Exactly, and I think you did a great job at doing that. It was a very pedagogical presentation, so I think this should help, I hope, our viewers a lot.
Yes, very nice illustrations from you, Dr. Walker.
One of the things that I did was I took a little bit of time to explain fossils, dead things, and you can't have dead things before sin came into the world. And so that really is a major issue on the age of the earth, and this whole thing connects to the gospel, to the reliability of the scriptures, and that sort of thing. It's just such a fundamental issue that's really not negotiable as far as a biblical worldview is concerned.
And finally, is there any resources out there, like videos, and that you would recommend if people out there would like to see more about this subject? There's videos. Which videos would there be?
Rapid Rocks. There's a few videos which I have done called Rapid Rocks, and there's also, you can find them on YouTube if you look up Tas Walker and biblical geology or something like that. You can find videos on those sorts of things. Definitely, there's quite a number of books I mentioned too. One is How Noah's Flood Shaped the Earth, and then there's Biblical Geology 101. But if you go to creation.com and go to the multimedia section and just do searches on things like that, there's lots of articles on geology.
Yeah. Great.
I've made it a point of trying to interpret the geology of different places around the world within a biblical framework. And people do appreciate that. And I get so many letters coming from people all over the world. I got one from Scandinavia, somebody wanting to know the origin of the fjords. And so I ended up writing an article about that. And the person wrote to us and said, we've been having an argument in our family about fjords and when they formed and how they formed. So I did research on that and published an article on that. So I just think that's where it connects with the real world. And it's not just abstract theory stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much, Tassman Walker. We have to continue. And so a lot of thanks for your lecture.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye.